when you visited here, Doris was the best hostess you ever had anywhere because she treated you as an honored guest. But one of the things that you always brought was beer and wine so that you wouldn't be thirsty. I remember a while when TV first came in and there was a television set in the Allerton Bar, and we used to stand outside and watch television. Later on, our friend Leonard Birnbaum, alias Rubbish, got old enough to buy us alcohol. And then we went into the bar, we sat around talking and drinking beer, and you, to show what a macho person you were, you tried to drink a lot of beer and never go to the bathroom. Everybody else did. So I think you ruined your insides way back when you're 18 or 19 years old. As far as what happened after that, I spent a year in Birmingham in 1950 being underground for the CP, and then they told me to solicit signatures for the Stockholm Peace Petition, which I went and did like a fool. The first door I knocked down, I went alone. The woman said, "Wait here, I have to get," and she called the police on me. I was arrested as a vagrant and spent a night in Birmingham jail, and after that I had to get out of town. So you stayed, and then eventually you got in trouble, but you stayed in the South. And then we used to write to each other now and then. Eventually you left the South and moved to Los Angeles, where I remember that you built a telescope because you also became a machinist and later on a tool and die maker. You were very handy. And when you used to come to visit Doris and me and the children, you always helped to fix different things around the apartment. And Beth remembers you as being an uncle who would come to New York and be helpful all the time. The other uncle that she remembers was Herb Wasserman, Artie Wasserman's younger brother, who also visited Doris. And Herb Wasserman had gone with Doris to the Berlin Youth Festival. That's where he knew her from. And coincidentally, when I was living in the Lower East Side with Jim Weinstein, and one day he had a barbecue in the backyard, and he says, "I'm gonna have a guest here. I'm gonna have a steak lunch." So I said, "I'll stay here instead of going to the Bronx." When Doris moved in and I fell in love with her at first sight, I asked Herb, who was gonna go up to the Bronx, to talk me up to her. And I asked Jim, how come he never introduced me to her before? And he said, "You gotta understand, she's very talkative and full of life, and you're a very quiet person." Later on, when Doris and I got married, he claimed he had really planned it that way. But life went on, and then you, as you came back and forth from Los Angeles to New York, there were other people that you stayed with in New York City who you knew from the South. Stop.